Welcome to the Episode 4 summary of the Ulysses Unlocked podcast, where we analyze Ulysses by James Joyce one page at a time. And hey, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and leave a comment to support us. For a more detailed analysis, listen to the main Ulysses Unlocked podcast, where we go into even more detail. Today, we're dissecting just a single, dense page to uncover a ferocious duel of wits hidden in plain sight. All right, so let's jump right in. We're looking at this seemingly simple exchange on page 6 of Ulysses. And what we're about to see is just how Joyce can pack more conflict, more meaning, into just a dozen lines than most authors can manage in a whole chapter. It's kind of wild. So, the scene kicks off with this character, Buck Mulligan. He says something that sounds like just a bit of gossip, right? But it's actually a really cryptic and brutal insult aimed right at our protagonist, Stephen Dedalus. You could say the first shot has just been fired. So Mulligan just casually drops his bombshell. He says some medical student he was with thinks Stephen has g.p.i. And you're probably thinking, what on earth is g.p.i? Well, let me tell you, it is not just a random set of letters. Okay, so g.p.i. stands for General Paresis of the Insane. Now, back in the early 1900s, this was the polite medical term for the final, fatal stage of syphilis, where the disease literally attacks the brain. But, and here's the brilliant twist, among medical students, it was also cruel slang for someone who was just, well, eccentric, a little odd.
So, which one is it? Is Mulligan just making a dark joke, teasing Stephen for being a bit weird? Or is he leveling this incredibly venomous accusation, saying he has a deadly, socially taboo disease? You see, Joyce just packs this one little insult with so many layers of meaning. It immediately cranks up the psychological tension in the scene.
And believe me, Mulligan is not done, not by a long shot. He actually escalates his attack, and this time he uses a simple shaving mirror as his weapon. So he holds this mirror up to Stephen, and then he quotes Oscar Wilde, comparing Stephen to Caliban, the savage, kind of brutish character from Shakespeare's The Tempest. He's basically calling Stephen uncivilized and totally deluded. It's a low blow. Now, this quote, it comes from Wilde's preface to The Picture of Dorian Gray. Wilde said that the public, just like Caliban, rages against art. They hate realism because it shows them their own ugly face, but they also hate romanticism for not showing them their face at all. So what Mulligan is doing here, so cleverly, is implying that Stephen is just a deluded romantic, completely unable to see his own grim reality. But Stephen? Oh, he doesn't take the personal bait. No way. Instead, in this absolutely brilliant move, he turns the insult completely outward. He looks at that mirror and makes it a symbol for something way, way bigger. A deep critique of his entire culture. It's a magnificent parry. Stephen suggests that the art of Ireland itself is a broken reflection, a cracked looking glass of a servant. Think about that. A servant's tool. He's implying it's subservient, that it's just incapable of showing a true whole image of its people, especially under colonial rule. He's just taken a personal jab and elevated it into a statement about national tragedy. Wow. And this whole exchange just leaves us with this massive question, one that really echoes throughout the entire novel. I mean, what is the true function of art? Especially in a nation that's colonized, a society struggling with its own identity. Can art ever provide a true reflection? Or is it doomed to always be a cracked looking glass? Always distorted, always broken? So, right when the tension is at its absolute peak, Mulligan does something completely unexpected. He just pivots. Abruptly, he drops the insults and he offers what sounds like an artistic truce. He actually links arms with Stephen and proposes this grand artistic collaboration. We could do something for the island, he says. Hellenize it. Now, that sounds pretty noble, doesn't it? But what in the world does he actually mean by Hellenize? Well, the term Hellenize comes from a cultural critic named Matthew Arnold. He used it to describe two different cultural impulses. On one hand, you have Hellenism. That's the pursuit of intellectual and aesthetic perfection, right? Think Greek ideals of beauty and knowledge. And on the other hand, you have Hebraism, which is all about dogmatic moral action. By the time Joyce was writing, this whole complex idea had kind of been boiled down into a culture war between bohemian artistic freedom and stuffy, repressive Victorian morality. So what's Mulligan's real game here?
Is he genuinely trying to unite with Stephen to save Ireland's soul? Is this a real offer to bring artistic freedom to the island? Or is this just another clever move in their duel? Another sophisticated way to disarm Stephen with a bit of flattery? That ambiguity, that's where all the magic is. Okay, so Mulligan might have his arm linked with Stephen's, making this big friendly gesture, but inside Stephen's head, whoa. His internal monologue shows us that this battle is so not over. The conflict has just moved inward, from spoken words to silent, unspoken thoughts. And Stephen, of course, sees right through it. In his mind, the thought is crystal clear. Parry it again. He knows this isn't a truce. It's just another move in their ongoing chess match. They are intellectual combatants, pure and simple, and each one fears the other's weapon. Stephen with the sharp lancet of my art, and Mulligan with his witty, cutting tongue, his cold steel pen. I mean, when you really break it down, the whole confrontation unfolds just like a fencing match. Check this out. First, there's the g.p.i. insult. That's the thrust. Then the Caliban mirror attack. Another thrust. Stephen counters with the cracked looking-glass defense. That's a parry. Mulligan changes tactics with the Hellenized proposal, a feint. And Stephen internally recognizes it as just that, another parry. The whole thing. It's an entire duel in just 5 moves. And that is the magic of James Joyce, right there. In just a few dozen lines, in this incredibly dense exchange, he reveals a whole world of rivalry, art, and betrayal. He doesn't just set up the complex relationship between these two guys. He lays out some of the core themes that are going to drive the entire novel. We're talking about the role of the artist, the state of Ireland, the very nature of betrayal. It's all here. It really makes you think, doesn't it? I mean, if just one page can hold a duel of wits this complex, layered with medical slang, Shakespeare, Oscar Wilde, cultural criticism, what other secrets does the rest of this massive book contain? What else is waiting to be unlocked in the hundreds of pages that follow? So we've really only just scratched the surface of a single page here today, but I think it shows just how much can be hidden in a few simple lines of dialogue. To explore every single layer, you've got to listen to the full Ulysses Unlocked podcast. Thanks for watching this summary, and we really hope it sparked your curiosity to dive even deeper into this incredible masterpiece.